everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Jennifer. In this video, I'll be showing you how I made this woodland wreath cut from logs that I found in my backyard and inspired by a picture I saw on Pinterest. The only tool you're going to need is either a miter saw or a bandsaw, or if you're not comfortable using either of those tools, you could always buy pre-cut wood cookies from a craft store. This is part of my Christmas countdown series going on right now, so check out the other items I've made so far if you haven't already. And if you're interested in making this project, stay with me and I'll show you how I did it.
The first thing you'll need to do is find suitable branches and logs. I looked for wood that had been drying for at least a year and found small, medium, and large sizes. The medium piece I initially chose was rotten inside, so I found this long branch and cut it into manageable sections. You'll want to choose pieces that are at least 12 inches in length and are as straight as possible because cutting wood cookies can be dangerous. I've seen people use either a miter saw or a bandsaw while also using the help of jigs and sleds, and honestly, those options freaked me out a little bit. Again, if you're not familiar with using a saw, you can purchase materials straight from a store. I experimented by using a broken ratchet strap to tie the piece down and slipped it under my miter saw table and around the fence. This allowed me to still hold onto the piece, but kept my hands far away. I was careful to keep the loose strap end away from the blade as well. On the right side, I used the help of a stock block positioned to give me cookies 1/4 of an inch thick. The strap was tied tight enough that I could slide the log up flush to the stock block after each cut, or you might need to untie and retighten between cookies. You'll want to make sure to wait until the blade comes to a complete stop before lifting the arm. Also, the smaller the branch or log, it's more likely that the cut piece could fly off behind the blade, so be cautious of this and take your time. I was left with even, perfectly sliced cookies using this method. For reference, my large cookie measures 3.5 inches in diameter, the medium size is 1 3/4 inches in diameter, and the small measures 1 1/8 inches in diameter. You can make your wreath any size you'd like, but I cut a dozen of each size and laid them out on the table. I noted that the inside diameter was about 10 inches, so I looked for something round that was close in size and found this flower pot that measures 10 1/4 inches across. I flipped it over, then placed each of the large cookies so that they are touching the flower pot and each other. Then I took the small and medium cookies and placed an example on top, lining the smaller one up visually with the perimeter of the flower pot. Using hot glue, I began securing each grouping, paying attention to the nicer side of each cookie, making sure it was facing up. If any glue seeps out, I would recommend removing it while it's still warm versus when it's hardened, as it will be more difficult. Once everything is in place and the glue is dried, you can lift the center you used as a template out. My wreath seemed perfectly strong as is, but you could also add some type of reinforcement on the back if you'd like. You can stop here as the wreath is beautiful on its own, but I kind of like the idea of adding some type of embellishment similar to the ones in my Pinterest inspiration photos. I did note which side of my wreath looked the nicest. To the left, there were a couple cookies with slight cracks in them, so anything I will add will cover that area. I also chose to put a sawtooth hanger on the back at the top, middle log. I very carefully attached this as not to split any of my pieces. Then I took twine, burlap, red mesh ribbon, and greenery and placed them into this homemade bow maker to create a swag. I tied it onto my wreath and gave it a little stability with a small shot of hot glue. I might want to swap it out during the different seasons, so I didn't want to make anything too permanent. I was a little conflicted with what should go in the center. I couldn't decide between a red car hauling a Christmas tree or this buck. I finally chose the deer because I like that this is a woodsy theme, and then to fill out a little space, I added 3 pine cones. I truly love how this wreath turned out, and there are so many different ways you could customize them to fit your personality or decor.
So I hope you enjoyed watching this video and that it was helpful and inspirational. If you're not a subscriber, I hope you'll hit that follow button and look me up. You can find me on TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook as well. As always, I thank you for watching, and until next time, take care.